Now let us look that at the moment there are more than 66 million people who are affected from glaucoma. About 15% of glaucoma patients become blind in both eyes with treatment, and another 26% glaucoma patients become blind in one eye with treatment. And you leave aside the other patients who are with field is impaired, quality of life is affected. So considering this, we will be sure that whatever the diagnostic modalities that we have now or the treatment that we have now is not sufficient. We have to look something in future. First of all, we have to look something for intraocular pressure monitoring, that it has to be a 24-hour monitoring of glaucoma, some instrument which has to develop. Because if a diabetologist controls your diabetes with random blood sugar, no one will be satisfied. But we are doing right now just a snapshot intraocular pressure recording and manage that. For that, there are various instruments which are in the development stage, like the contact lens device, the implantable devices, but these things, of course, is for future. The triggerfish contact lens device, but doesn't measure actually the intraocular pressure, but it measures the fluctuations of the curvature of cornea because of the fluctuations in the intraocular pressure. So indirectly it gives you fluctuation in the intraocular pressure. The imaging devices definitely has got some future, that the spectral domain OCT has opened the field for three-dimensional OCT and the polarization sensitive OCT and swept source OCT and oximetry. Because of this, we can visualize the retinal ganglion cell more precisely, and we can definitely manage the disease in a better way and detect it little earlier. And also the real-time in vivo imaging with fluorescent level annexin 5 can tell you about the retinal cell apoptosis, which is definitely going to be beneficial for diagnosis as well as the management. The biomarkers for glaucoma is the genetic screening, proteomic markers, analysis for serum antibodies to retina and optic nerve proteins. CD44 has the potential to become a diagnostic biomarker for POAG because the quantity becomes high in cases of glaucoma. Then the possibility of a vaccine for primary open-angle glaucoma can be a reality in near future. Now there are on treatment front, there are various newer molecules which are being investigated for better compliance, more effect and least toxicity. And there's no time to discuss in detail, but especially the ROCK inhibitors and the nitric oxide synthetase inhibitors has a good, bright future. Now to have a better compliance, definitely the ocular implants will be more beneficial, which can be effective for longer period, maybe we have to replace it every 3 months or 6 months. That will be a better option. And intravitreal implants, subconjunctival implants and drug-eluting contact lenses are being investigated. Now, if you look into the future, we have to attack glaucoma basically on three fronts. The genetic-based therapies can be delivered to the anterior portion to control the ocular outflow, or the posterior chamber for the neuroprotection. Similarly, the neurotropic factors can be delivered directly to the posterior chamber for the neuroprotection, and stem cell delivered to the anterior segment for the control of the outflow and posterior segment for neuroprotection. These things are in future. The genes, although there are 29 loci, for 12 genes have been identified, but these genes have been identified primarily for congenital and developmental glaucoma, where there are abnormalities in the structure leading to glaucoma. Only MYOC gene for myosilin coding elevate IOP without abnormality, and this gene for the exfoliation syndrome. The gene therapy basically is directed towards not to fix the defective gene, but to introduce exogenous genes to modify the activity and alter the function of the receiving cell. It needs a vector, and these are the vectors which are in the trial stage, especially the adenovirus and the liposomes. These genes can be attacked at either conjunctival level for wound modulating, this level for the aqueous production, for the aqueous outflow, the trabecular meshwork, or the uvascular outflow, or directly onto the optic nerve and the retina as a neuroprotection. The various vectors and the genes and the tissue and the various target genes and the various tissue which are in the experimental stage. Now there are certain challenges in the gene therapy. that we have to understand, we have to get a better gene delivery system, we have to understand the aqueous production, outflow pathways and the cell death pathways of RCG in a better manner, the toxic effect to the vectors, innate and the antigen-specific immune response to the vectors, and also we have to identify additional genes, and also we should try to understand why ectopic genes sometimes expression shuts off in the ocular cells. And also we have to identify the promoters of the other gene expression elements. These are the various challenges in gene therapy. Nanotechnology, of course, is going to be in future, which can act as vector for these genes, and these are the various nanoparticles which are on the trial stage. And it can be used either in topical form, corneal injection, anterior chamber injection, in the angle, in the posterior chamber, under the retina, or into intravenous into the nerve. The various nanoparticles were tried. The nanotechnology can be used for nanoscaffolding for the nerve regeneration, nanosphere delivery for the therapeutic agents, transfection means introduction of foreign DNA into the cells, gene therapy, nanomedicine adjunct to surgery, then the nanoparticles tagged stem cells delivery to the eye, then the nanoscale scavenging of the reactive oxygen species, and nanodiagnosis for the intraocular pressure recording, continuous gene diagnosis, and the ganglion cell study. Also, the nanosurgery is being envisaged. The neuroprotection, of course, we are trying to get it by reducing the toxicity of the risk factors of glutamate or nitric oxide, affecting nerve factor, affecting the nutrition or the self-repair or limit destruction, vasoprotection. The calcium channel blockers gave some hope, but so far the 2 calcium channel blockers and the Memantine trial, which have been conducted, long-term trial, are available, but the results are disappointing. The stem cells, the ray of hope, may take a long time to a reality. Regenerations of the optic nerve may not take place, but we can hope for RGC replacement and the realistic neuroprotection in future. And these are the various sources which can be tried for glaucoma: embryonic stem cells, from adult retina, from adult brain, from dermal fibroblast, and the bone marrow. In surgery, there are so many newer surgeries which have been introduced, but now more than 40 years have passed after the introduction of trabeculectomy, and still it's considered to be the gold standard. And I predict that maybe in another 40 years, probably trabeculectomy will still remain the gold standard. However, what modifications we can expect in the form of wound modulators, like Illumastat is a promising drug which can cause inhibition of MMP9, results in reduced fibrosis and diffuse bleb formation, and it can replace mitomycin C in future. Also, the transforming growth factor B2 alpha antagonists are being tried as a wound modulator, and probably the TMG alpha 2 inhibitor and the Illumastat may become a future modality for the regular use of trabeculectomy for wound modulation. Now, the wishful thinking that we understand the disease so well that a simple test can diagnose the disease and also identify patients at risk to develop blindness, followed by one shot treatment which cures the disease. A vaccine to prevent glaucoma will be a most welcome thing. To achieve this, what are our wish lists we don't have right now? Better understanding of the disease, continuous IOP measurement, simpler tests for functional and anatomical assessment with high sensitivity and specificity, genetic study for diagnosis, alteration of disease process by whatever means, genes or some other methods, non-toxic safe medication with better compliance, genetic remodeling, nanotechnology for genetic and drug delivery, neuroprotection, stem cell therapy, simpler surgical technique with less chances of failure. I don't know how many of these can be achieved and in how much time. So, future of glaucoma appears to be bright if you look at these modalities. However, the prediction for the time frame is a big question mark. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.